Imagine losing the love of your life and then discovering that the person comforting you might be hiding the biggest secret of all. A weekend that was supposed to heal broken hearts slowly turns into an emotional battlefield where every smile hides pain, every friendship hides resentment, and every conversation brings someone one step closer to the truth. No murders, no serial killers, no supernatural monsters, just 5 women carrying enough secrets to destroy each other's lives forever. And trust me, by the time this weekend is over, none of them will leave Nantucket the same person they were when they arrived. This is the 5-Star Weekend, one of Peacock's most emotional drama series of 2026, starring Jennifer Garner, Chloe Sevigny, Regina Hall, Darcy Carden, Gemma Chan, and Timothy Oliphant. Today, we're breaking down the complete story, exploring every major character, every emotional twist, and the hidden meanings behind one unforgettable weekend. So grab your favorite snack, sit back, and let's dive into the beautiful but deeply complicated world of the 5-Star Weekend. Our story begins in the middle of the holiday season. Everything looks like something straight out of a lifestyle magazine. Cookies are baking in the oven, Christmas decorations sparkle throughout the house, soft music fills the air, the kitchen is spotless, and standing at the center of it all is Hollis Shaw. To millions of people online, Hollis isn't just another food blogger. She's a brand, a celebrity chef, a best-selling cookbook author, an influencer whose followers admire her seemingly perfect life. Every recipe she posts goes viral. Every table she sets looks like a dream. Every family photo tells the same story. This woman has everything. Or at least, that's what everyone believes. Because behind every perfectly filtered photo lies a reality no one can see. And within minutes, that perfect life completely falls apart. There's a knock at the front door. 2 police officers stand outside. Their expressions say everything before they even speak. Hollis's husband, Matthew, has been involved in a terrible car accident. He didn't survive. Just like that, Christmas ends before it even begins. The cookies continue burning inside the oven. The house falls silent, and Hollis's world shatters into pieces. It's an incredibly simple opening. No dramatic music, no shocking visual effects, just devastating news delivered in the quietest way possible. And that's exactly why it feels so real. Time moves on. People expect grief to become easier, but grief doesn't work that way. 6 months after Matthew's death, Hollis is technically back to work. Her career is bigger than ever. She's promoting her newest cookbook. Millions still love her. Brands still want to work with her. From the outside, she's doing just fine. Until she's invited on a live television cooking show. Everything starts normally. She smiles, she cooks, she laughs. Then the host casually asks about Matthew. It's a harmless question, but for Hollis, it's like reopening a wound that never healed. She freezes, her voice cracks, and within seconds, she completely breaks down on live television. Millions of viewers witness something they never expected. Not the polished influencer, not the perfect chef, just a grieving widow trying and failing to hold herself together. It's the first time we truly understand something important about Hollis. She isn't pretending because she's dishonest. She's pretending because she honestly doesn't know who she is anymore. Cooking used to make her happy. Now it simply distracts her. But once the cameras stop rolling, the pain comes rushing back. Watching Hollis struggle, her manager Chelsea realizes something important. Hollis doesn't need another cookbook. She doesn't need another television appearance. She needs people, real people, not followers, not fans, friends. Chelsea suggests something unusual. What if Hollis invited one close friend from every chapter of her life? A childhood friend, a college friend, a friend from motherhood, someone new she's recently met. Different people, different memories, different versions of herself. Maybe reconnecting with those different versions could help Hollis rediscover the woman she used to be. At first, the idea sounds strange, but the more Hollis thinks about it, the more it begins to make sense. She even asks her daughter Caroline to spend the weekend together. Unfortunately, Caroline turns her down. Their relationship hasn't been the same since Matthew died. Both are grieving, but instead of helping each other, they're slowly drifting apart. That rejection hurts more than Hollis wants to admit. So she decides to move forward with the plan anyway. She'll host what she calls the 5-Star Weekend, a luxurious girls' getaway at her beautiful childhood home in Nantucket. It sounds like the perfect escape, but what Hollis doesn't realize is that every guest she's inviting is carrying emotional baggage of their own. And once they're all under one roof, those hidden wounds are bound to collide. The first invitation goes to Drew Ann Jones. Back in college, she and Hollis were inseparable. Today, Drew Ann is one of the country's most successful sports agents. She's smart, confident, and completely obsessed with winning. But lately, her career has been collapsing. After publicly criticizing one of her athletes for taking time off to focus on mental health, social media turns against her overnight. She's suddenly labeled insensitive. Brands distance themselves. Her reputation begins falling apart. The weekend arrives at exactly the right time, whether she wants it or not. Next comes Brooke Kirtley. If Drew Ann is confident, Brooke is the complete opposite. She's awkward, talks too much whenever she's nervous, constantly worries about saying the wrong thing, and desperately wants everyone to like her. She met Hollis years earlier through a mother support group, but behind her cheerful personality, her marriage is quietly falling apart. Her husband faces serious accusations at work, and Brooke has spent so many years making herself small to keep everyone else comfortable, she's forgotten who she really is. Then comes Tatum McKenzie, Hollis's oldest friend, more like a sister than a friend. After Hollis lost her own mother as a child, Tatum's family practically raised her. They shared birthdays, holidays, dreams, everything. But adulthood changed them. Life pulled them in different directions. Now, the friendship is filled with unspoken resentment. Even worse, Tatum is waiting for biopsy results after discovering a lump in her breast. The possibility of cancer hangs over her every thought. Yet she tells almost no one. She chooses to carry that fear alone. Finally, there's Gigi Ling, the one person nobody understands. Unlike the others, Gigi has never actually met Hollis in real life. She's an airline pilot, a social media follower, someone who reached out after Matthew died. Through countless online conversations, the two women formed an unexpected friendship. Hollis trusted her, sometimes even more than the friends she'd known for decades. To everyone else, that seems incredibly strange. Why would Hollis invite a virtual stranger to something this personal? It's a question everyone quietly asks, but no one has the answer. Yet. Because what no one knows is that Gigi has a secret powerful enough to destroy this entire weekend. And when the truth finally comes out, nothing will ever be the same again. One by one, the women make their way to the island. Hollis has planned every detail perfectly. Luxury welcome baskets, beautiful meals, matching schedules, fun activities. Everything is designed to create the perfect weekend, because that's what Hollis has always done. When life feels messy, she organizes. When emotions become overwhelming, she cooks. When everything starts falling apart, she tries to make everything around her beautiful. But grief doesn't follow an itinerary. Neither does resentment. And no amount of perfectly arranged flowers can hide years of unresolved pain. As the first evening begins, old friendships are tested. New friendships raise suspicion. Hidden emotions quietly begin bubbling beneath the surface. Everyone smiles. Everyone hugs. Everyone pretends they're happy to be there. But underneath those smiles, every single woman is hiding something. And one secret is about to change everything.
So far, Hollis has gathered 4 women from different chapters of her life, hoping one perfect weekend can somehow repair what 6 months of grief couldn't. But the biggest mistake she makes isn't inviting them. It's assuming they all remember the same version of her. The moment everyone settles into the Nantucket house, it becomes obvious that these women don't just have different personalities, they each have a completely different relationship with Hollis. To one, she's a childhood sister. To another, she's the ambitious college friend who chased bigger dreams. To someone else, she's the polished influencer who seems to have outgrown the people who helped build her. That difference in perspective becomes the emotional engine of the series. One of the smartest things the show does is avoid rushing into explosive drama. Instead, it lets tension build naturally through awkward conversations, subtle looks, and small misunderstandings. At first glance, it feels like a relaxing vacation, but underneath the beautiful scenery, almost everyone arrives carrying emotional baggage. Take Drew Ann, for example. She's used to being in control. Her career has always come first, and she's built a reputation as someone who never backs down. But after facing intense public backlash over comments about an athlete's mental health, she's suddenly forced to confront a question she spent years avoiding. Has success become her entire identity? Meanwhile, Tatum couldn't care less about social media scandals. She's dealing with something far more frightening. While everyone else is trying to enjoy the weekend, she's quietly waiting for medical test results that could completely change her future. Rather than seeking sympathy, she hides behind sarcasm and blunt honesty. It's easier to joke than admit she's terrified. Brooke, on the other hand, becomes the audience's emotional window into the group. She desperately wants everyone to get along, constantly worries about saying the wrong thing, and seems convinced she doesn't belong with these accomplished women. But that insecurity isn't accidental. Years of living in a controlling marriage have slowly convinced her that her opinions don't matter. And then there's Gigi. She's friendly. She's calm. She's thoughtful. Yet something about her presence immediately feels different. Everyone notices it. The other women can't understand why Hollis seems to trust someone she's only known through social media more than friends who've shared decades of memories with her. That suspicion grows stronger as the evening unfolds. Even Hollis's loyal dog reacts strangely around Gigi, prompting a few uneasy jokes that quickly stop feeling like jokes at all. It's a clever storytelling choice. Rather than revealing the mystery immediately, the series encourages viewers to question every interaction Gigi has with the group. Every glance feels meaningful. Every quiet moment hints that she's carrying something much heavier than anyone realizes. While all of this unfolds, Hollis herself continues trying to play the perfect host. She plans games, she organizes activities, she keeps everyone busy. Because if everyone stays entertained, maybe no one will notice how broken she really feels. Eventually, the women begin opening up through a lighthearted party game. At first, the mood is playful. Old stories are shared. Embarrassing memories bring laughter. For a brief moment, it feels like Hollis's plan might actually work. But emotional walls have a way of collapsing when people stop pretending. Before long, old disagreements resurface. Long-held resentments finally find a voice. Friends begin questioning decisions made years ago. And buried emotions refuse to stay buried any longer. One conversation in particular exposes an important truth about grief. Everyone thinks they know the right way to help Hollis. Tatum believes healing starts with confronting pain directly. Gigi believes healing simply requires someone's quiet presence. Neither approach is completely right. Neither is completely wrong. The series subtly suggests that grief doesn't follow instructions, and that's one of its strongest ideas. There isn't a universal roadmap for moving on. What comforts one person may only deepen someone else's pain. Meanwhile, Hollis's relationship with Caroline continues deteriorating. Caroline eventually arrives at the island, but instead of bringing comfort, her arrival adds another layer of emotional conflict. Both mother and daughter miss Matthew desperately, but they express that grief in completely opposite ways. Hollis buries herself in work. Caroline withdraws from everyone around her. Neither realizes they're hurting each other while trying to protect themselves. As the night draws to a close, Hollis quietly slips away from the group to finish preparing dessert. Standing alone in the kitchen, surrounded by recipes that once brought her happiness, the memories finally overwhelm her. For the first time since everyone arrived, she allows herself to cry. It's one of Jennifer Garner's strongest moments in the series because nothing dramatic happens. There's no speech, no music telling us how to feel, just silence. And grief that refuses to disappear. Someone eventually finds Hollis in that vulnerable moment. The comfort she receives feels genuine. But what the audience doesn't yet know is that this quiet interaction carries a heartbreaking irony that will only become clear much later. It's a brilliant piece of dramatic irony. The viewer senses something is wrong long before understanding exactly what it is. And that's what keeps the mystery alive. By the end of this chapter, one thing has become crystal clear. This weekend was never really about luxury vacations or expensive dinners. It's about 5 women confronting the versions of themselves they've spent years trying to avoid. Some will find the courage to change. Others will discover that the hardest person to forgive isn't someone else. It's themselves. But the biggest secret of all is still waiting in the shadows. And when it finally comes to light, it won't just change Hollis's understanding of her marriage. It will force every friendship in this house to confront a painful question. Can trust ever truly be rebuilt once it's been shattered? And that's where the story takes its biggest turn.
Just when everyone thinks the weekend can't get any more complicated, everything changes. Brooke accidentally discovers the truth that Gigi has been hiding since the very beginning. Gigi wasn't just another online friend who comforted Hollis after Matthew's death. She had been having an affair with Matthew. Suddenly, every awkward moment, every emotional reaction, and every strange behavior from Gigi starts making sense. The guilt she's been carrying wasn't just sympathy for Hollis, it was grief mixed with regret. At the same time, everyone else is fighting their own battles. Tatum finally receives a call from her doctor after spending the entire weekend fearing the worst. Thankfully, the lump isn't cancer, but doctors discover abnormal cells that will need further treatment. Instead of celebrating, she quietly shares the news only with her husband, showing just how deeply she's been protecting Hollis from carrying another burden. Meanwhile, Drew Ann's career continues to collapse. After being criticized online, she finally realizes that chasing success has cost her meaningful relationships. For the first time, she begins questioning whether her career is worth sacrificing her happiness. Brooke also reaches her breaking point. Years of living under her controlling husband's shadow have destroyed her confidence, but this weekend changes her perspective. Surrounded by strong women, she finally realizes it's time to stop living for someone else. Even Caroline begins seeing her mother differently. She finally understands that Hollis wasn't ignoring her grief. They were simply grieving in completely different ways. But none of those emotional breakthroughs compare to what's about to happen next. because the biggest secret is finally ready to explode. Eventually, Hollis learns the heartbreaking truth. Matthew had been having an affair with Gigi. Naturally, she's devastated. She feels betrayed not only by her late husband, but also by the woman she trusted enough to invite into her home. Gigi finally tells her everything. She admits the affair, accepts responsibility, and reveals one final detail that changes everything. On the day Matthew died, he had called her to say he was ending their relationship. He had decided to return home and try to repair his marriage with Hollis. That revelation doesn't erase the pain, but it gives Hollis something she desperately needed: closure. Instead of holding on to anger forever, Hollis chooses forgiveness, not because what happened was acceptable, but because she refuses to let betrayal define the rest of her life. Around her, the other women also begin new chapters. Tatum faces her health battle with renewed hope. Drew-Ann decides to redefine success on her own terms. Brooke finally leaves her toxic marriage and begins embracing the person she's always wanted to become. Caroline reconnects with her mother, and together they finally start healing from Matthew's death. As for Hollis, she allows herself to move forward instead of remaining trapped in the past. Her old boyfriend Jack returns to her life, reminding her that love can sometimes find a second chance. By the end of the weekend, these women realize something powerful. They didn't need a perfect vacation. They needed honesty. They needed forgiveness. And most importantly, they needed each other. Unlike many modern dramas, the 5-Star Weekend isn't about solving a murder or uncovering a conspiracy. It's about ordinary people carrying extraordinary emotional weight. It reminds us that grief doesn't disappear overnight. Friendships require effort, and forgiveness isn't about forgetting the past. It's about choosing not to let it control your future. And that's what makes this story so relatable. If you enjoyed this explanation and want more movie and series breakdowns like this, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our next story. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next recap.